What happens to your body if you live on Mars? Living on Mars is a dream for many, but the red planet poses unique challenges to the human body. Let's explore what could happen if humans were to live on Mars. First, let's talk about gravity. Mars has about 38% of Earth's gravity. While this means you'd weigh much less, it also has significant effects on your body. In lower gravity, your muscles don't need to work as hard, leading to muscle atrophy, a loss of muscle mass, especially in the legs, back, and core. Over time, this could make everyday tasks more difficult. Similarly, bones begin to weaken without the constant stress of Earth's gravity. Astronauts in space lose 1 to 2% of bone density per month, and while Mars's gravity might reduce this rate, bone loss would still be a serious concern. To combat these effects, settlers would need to engage in regular exercise and resistance training, using specialized equipment to maintain muscle and bone health. Next, there's radiation exposure. Mars has a thin atmosphere and no global magnetic field, offering little protection from cosmic rays and solar radiation. Prolonged exposure to this radiation can damage DNA, increasing the risk of cancer, cataracts, and other illnesses. It could also affect the central nervous system, potentially leading to cognitive decline. To protect themselves, settlers would need habitats shielded with thick materials like regolith, Martian soil, or water. They might also wear radiation-resistant suits when venturing outside. Psychological effects are another major challenge. Mars is millions of miles from Earth, leading to extreme isolation. Communication delays of up to 20 minutes one way would make real-time conversations impossible. Living in small habitats with limited social interaction could lead to stress, anxiety, and depression. To maintain mental health, settlers would rely on virtual reality, regular communication with Earth, and carefully designed habitats that include private spaces. Now, let's talk about Martian dust. Mars is covered in fine, abrasive dust that could damage equipment and human lungs. This dust contains perchlorates, which are toxic to humans. Inhaling it could cause respiratory issues and lung damage. To minimize exposure, settlers would need advanced air filtration systems and protective suits. Resources on Mars are also limited. Growing food would be challenging due to the lack of fertile soil and sunlight. Most food would need to be grown in hydroponic or aeroponic systems. Water is scarce, though it exists in the form of ice. Extracting and purifying it would be essential for survival. Oxygen is another challenge, as Mars's atmosphere is 95% carbon dioxide. Settlers would need to produce oxygen using electrolysis, splitting water into hydrogen and oxygen, or devices like MOXIE, which convert CO2 into oxygen. Sustainable life support systems and recycling technologies would be critical for survival. Temperature extremes are another hurdle. Mars is extremely cold, with average temperatures around 80 degrees, 60 degrees C. Nights can drop to 195 degrees, 125 degrees C. Prolonged exposure to such cold could lead to hypothermia and frostbite. Heated habitats and insulated suits would be necessary to protect against the cold. Long-term health risks are still largely unknown. The combination of radiation, stress, and limited medical resources could weaken the immune system, making settlers more susceptible to infections and illnesses. Reproductive health is another concern. The effects of lower gravity and radiation on human reproduction are still unclear. Conceiving and raising children on Mars could pose significant challenges. Additionally, it's unclear how living on Mars might affect the aging process. Radiation and stress could potentially accelerate aging. Finally, let's consider adaptation. Over thousands of years, humans living on Mars might evolve to adapt to the environment. Possible changes could include denser bones to counteract lower gravity, radiation-resistant DNA, and enhanced lung capacity to handle thinner air. But this raises ethical questions. Would humans intentionally modify their DNA to adapt faster? These are debates that future settlers may need to face. In conclusion, living on Mars would be an incredible achievement, but it comes with significant risks to the human body. From muscle and bone loss to radiation exposure and psychological challenges, settlers would face a host of health issues. However, with advanced technology, rigorous countermeasures, and a spirit of exploration, humanity might one day call Mars home.